and open doors.
And we welcome you back as we are getting set for Game 2. And we welcome you back here on YouTube at KCCR Sports. John Winkler alongside Blake Dean. As this is Game 2 and the chance for Watertown to advance to the state tournament in the quarterfinals. The Governors have to win Game 2 and then have to come back and win Game number 3. All being here today at Hyde Stadium. A 6-1 win. Caden Rylands was outstanding with 19 strikeouts, close to 20 strikeouts, but 19 strikeouts in the ball game for Caden Rylands. I mean, that is 2 under the minimum of, or maximum of strikeouts that he could have in a 7-inning game, as the Govs have to find answers on the pitching staff, as it looks like it is Will Danberg that is going to be throwing for the Governors in game number 2. He is warming up. We have not got the lineups quite yet, but 5 teams are in of the 8 that can be into the state tournament that will be in the quarterfinals. Harrisburg, the top seed, Lincoln, the 2 seed, O'Gorman, the 3 seed, and Jefferson, the 4 seed. Both with sweep, or all 4 with sweeps between Thursday, yesterday, and now today. Brandon Valley, the 7 seed, in the 7-10 matchup, they swept Roosevelt, so they are in as well. Watertown, the 12 seed, has a 6-1 win. Stevens won 14-3 over Mitchell in the 8-9. And so game 2 coming up for both of these matchups between Pierre Watertown and Stevens Mitchell, starting here right around the 1:30 start time. We're about 6 minutes away from first pitch right now in our second game. And then Stevens and Mitchell will play the if necessary game 3 later on today. The same with Pierre and Watertown. We'll play that if necessary game. Yankton and Brookings will get started at 5 o'clock tonight. They'll play 2 games tonight. They will be the last games. Yes, there might not be every team decided, but by the time that they get done with game 1, they're going to be the last set of games to be played, and they would play on Monday if necessary, as we are looking to get set for our second game between the Pierre Governors and the Watertown Arrows. You see the bracket on YouTube as well at KCCR Sports. That left side is all set with those top 4 teams. They know where they're playing. Brandon Valley does not know who they're going to play yet. If there is an upset, they would move up to the number 6 seed. If there's 2 upsets, they can move all the way up to the number 5 seed. So they can face either, they can face one of 3 teams right now between the number 3 seed O'Gorman, the number 2 seed Lincoln, or the number 4 seed Jefferson, depending on how things shake out at the end of the day today, or maybe into Monday. But the top 4 seeds know what time they're playing. The Governors, they know if they win, they're playing at 2:30 against Jefferson. Flip side, Watertown knows if they win, they're going to play Harrisburg in the first round at 12 o'clock on Friday. So both teams know exactly who their opponent will be if they win this series as we get set for our second game. We're looking for lineups here shortly. No lineup yet from either side, but we will get the Watertown lineup here in just a moment. We'll get the Pierre Governor lineup, and we'll tell you exactly who will be throwing and how things will look for the Governors, who had just 2 hits in game number 1, as Blake Dean will join us here in just some moments before we take our commercial break. We're actually getting our lineups here now shortly, getting it texted in from Spencer O'Brien, at least the Pierre Governor lineup, as it will be, again, Will Danberg pitching in game number 2. Will Danberg, a sophomore for this Governor team, Blake, and this, you see then that knowing that J.J. Buckholz is either in relief or be the starter in game 3, the sophomore's got a lot riding on him right now. He's going to be very good. He has been good all season. He's kind of been that 1B to Ridge Line Box 1A, and they need him to be as sharp as he has been all season here this afternoon.
Yeah, they do, and Will Danberg is going to come in to this game number 2, the innings leader for the Govs. 35 1/3 innings pitched. This will be his 9th game pitched, 6th start. He comes in with a 5-1 record. 16 runs allowed, 7 earned runs, 30 hits given up through those 5 starts, 8 appearances, 7 walks, 27 strikeouts, for an ERA of 1.39 and a whip at 1.05, a batting average against of 221. 7 hit by pitch, and really has done a good job of pitching to contact and allowing his defense to make plays for him. Only 2 errors when Will Danberg has been on the mound. for the Govs this season. That's through 35 and a third innings for Danberg. Only 2 errors in the field against him, as opposed to 4 being given up through the 5 2/3 that Ridge Leinbach just threw in game number 1 for the Govs. So be hopefully a better defensive effort here in game 2 for Pierre. On the flip side, for Watertown, we're assuming that they're going to throw their number 2. They will throw their number 2 in Talon Jurgens. Talon comes into this ball game. He is going to go on one of those 6 seniors for Watertown that's going to go play college baseball next year. He is going to pitch at Dakota State next year. And you look at his line, 18 innings pitched on the year for the senior, 4 games, 4 starts. 2-0 record for Talon as well. 8 runs, 5 earned on the year. 14 hits given up, 9 walks, 16 strikeouts, an ERA of 1.94, a whip of 1.28, and a batting average against of 206. So another opportunity for a potential pitcher's duel between Danberg and Jurgens here in game number 2. But we'll see which team makes the fewest mistakes, which team's able to get on base, whether it be via hit or walk, and that's going to allow the winning team to come out victorious. If it is Watertown, they will move into that 8th slot, like you said, John, and play Harrisburg in the first round. If Pierre is able to win, we will play a sudden death game 3 about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game number 2.
Lineups are being traded over at home plate, so we are just about set for first pitch between Pierre and Watertown. We will return in 2 minutes with first pitch between the Pierre Governors and the Watertown Arrows. You're listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
When you're in town for the big game, why not stay where the view is just as great as the action? American in Fort Pierce sits right on the river, offering beautiful scenery, relaxing comfort, and easy access to the ballpark. After a day at the Diamond, there's nothing better than unwinding by the water, and the American always hits it out of the park. Stay by the river. Stay in comfort. Call 605-223-2358 to book your room today. American, where the river meets relaxation. Step up to the plate with Overhead Door Company of Pierre. Like your favorite team, we deliver reliability, strength, and top-notch performance. For over 100 years, Overhead Door has been the most respected name in the industry. From commercial or residential repairs to full upgrades, our team of technicians stand ready to provide winning results. Don't let a faulty garage door strike you out. Look for the signature red ribbon and call the industry MVP at 605-224-6200. Bring your garage door game to the big leagues.
Is your roof ready for the next South Dakota storm? Don't wait till it's too late. For over 25 years, Karsten Erickson Roofing and Construction has been serving Central South Dakota with quality roofing and construction. He has now added gutters. We offer dependable service, guaranteed workmanship, and no unnecessary flash or fuss. Just reliable protection for your home. Karsten Erickson Roofing and Construction. Experience you can trust. Call today, 605-280-8133. Karsten Erickson Roofing and Construction, serving Central South Dakota for over 25 years. Look, it's no secret that owning a vehicle can cause a lot of stress, and they get a lot of wear and tear on them through the extreme seasons we've grown to love. Graham Tire wants you to know that you can trust them with any problem that you have with your vehicle. Their ASC certified mechanics can make your AC cool again, or even just change your oil. They can look into and fix those noises that seem to come from nowhere and have you stressed out. Bring your car to Graham Tire so they can put your mind at ease. Graham Tire, your tire store next door.
We are set and ready to go for our second game of the best of 3 series between the Pierre Governors and the Watertown Arrows. Watertown is now the home team in game number 2, and the Govs will be the home team if we get to game number 3 as Talon Jurgens is on the mound. As I had to Blake had to be real quick about getting the scoreboard changed around. I kind of forgot about that until in that commercial break that I had to make sure that I had Watertown on the bottom of the scoreboard instead of Pierre. So my scoreboard got a little bit, I was almost a little bit too afraid. Almost not too afraid, but almost didn't get it in time.
Yeah, but you're Johnny on the spot. Literally and figuratively.
I don't know about that. We do have the starting lineup for this visiting Pierre Governor team. It will be Carter Shufflebine to lead things off. George Stalley will bat second. Shufflebine the second baseman. Stalley the center fielder. Dawson Getz the shortstop batting third. Ridge Linebach the DH batting fourth. Cooper Twilliger will bat fifth. Porter Hunsley the left fielder batting sixth. Sutton Sunshine the catcher batting seventh. Charlie Simpson the right fielder batting eighth. And Hudson Stosher the third baseman will bat ninth. And they will go against Talon Jurgens. The one thing we will mention here real quick, Jonathan Lake is back behind the plate. He took a hit by pitch in the helmet in game number 1, but he is back behind the plate as the first pitch will be missing high for ball 1 as we are underway at 1:23 for game 2 of our best of 3 series. And again, if the Governors do win, they will force a game 3 back here at Hyde Stadium immediately, not necessarily immediately, but about 30 minutes following the end of game number 2. 2-0 count to Carter Shufflebine. Only Cooper Twilliger and Charlie Simpson have base hits so far in this best of 3 series. That one's over for a strike of the letters, and the count's now 2-1.
Going back to your point, really, really good to see Jonathan Lake back behind the plate. You know, that was a really scary moment in game number 1 when he got hit in the helmet, but good to see that he's not only okay physically, but good enough to go here in game number 2.
3-1 count here to Carter Shufflebine, leadoff man in game number 2. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one to be fouled back, and that one, if that had not got the top of that netting, Blake, I was ready for it.
It was coming right our direction. It was very close.
Oh man, that one's a little bit. Oh, it's kind of frustrating. That one didn't have as much speed as the other one back in game 1. 3-2 pitch to Shufflebine. This will be fouled back just to our left, almost into the concession stand, and it remains a 3-2 count to leadoff man.
Jurgens is got a kind of a herky-jerky delivery. He really extends that right arm back behind him as he delivers to the plate.
3-2 pitch. There's a swing and a miss, and Shufflebine will be retired. A strikeout to open up the ball game. And there is one down to bring up the number 2 man in George Stalley. He did walk in game number 1 in that 6th inning. But the Govs want to get off on the right foot here offensively.
And he actually had one of the outs that was not a strikeout. It was a fly out to right, if I remember correctly.
He's one of just him and Charlie Simpson are the only 2 guys that did not strike out multiple times in that first game, as the first pitch is over for strike 1 on the off-speed pitch. This is a Pierre Governor lineup that has struggled to score runs throughout most of this season. You know, in total, 75 runs, 128 runs through now 24 games. 1-1 pitch. There's a swing and a miss, and the count's now 1-2.
When you say a number like that, that sounds like a lot, but, you know, that averages out to just over 5 runs a game.
And you think about some of those games where you scored 10-plus runs and you win 10-0, there's a swing and a miss. And Stalley is down on strikes, and Jurgens has got back-to-back strikeouts to open up the top of the first, and it brings up Dawson Getz.
Jurgens is doing a good job of mixing here so far in this first inning. Really spotting the off-speed stuff, low and away, and both Shufflebine and Stalley unable to hold up from their swings and have swung through both off-speed pitches for strike 3. Now 21 strikeouts for Watertown pitching here through a game, well, I guess 7 2/3 innings.
Counts 2-0 here to Dawson Getz. I was trying to think about Talon Jurgens, that delivery kind of almost reminds you of like Ubaldo Jimenez.
A little bit.
That with the arm almost like straight down behind him, as the count's now 3-0 here to Dawson Getz.
That's a good comparison. I was thinking not really like Dontrell Willis, because Dontrell was more the leg kick versus the arm back behind him, but Ubaldo Jimenez is a good comparison there.
3-0 pitch will be upstairs, and after back-to-back strikeouts, a 4-pitch walk to Dawson Getz, and there is a runner on at first here at the top of the first for now Ridge Linebach, the DH.
He was like one of the most wild one-season wonders of all time, Ubaldo Jimenez. Easily the best pitcher in the National League for the Rockies for 1 year. Was it 2016, 15?
That's a good question.
It was a while ago.
Rich Leinbach grounds that one. That is through the right side for a base hit. Rounding second is Getz. He'll make his way over to third. Throw will be cut off. Actually went all the way through. Sliding in as safely as Getz. It's a two-out single for Rich Leinbach, and the Govs have runners in the corners. After back-to-back strikeouts, they're in business here with 2 outs. And Cooper Twilliger's got a chance to give the Govs their first lead today.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting there by Ridge. Didn't try to do too much. Juergens is doing a good job of pounding the outer half, and Leinbach just went with that pitch, hit a screamer right past Berg at first, and Getz was off with the pitch, able to get to third relatively easily despite a good throw from Olsen and Wright. As Terwilliger will pop this one up, it might have a chance. Looks like it's going to drift just out of play. That hit the front part of the overhang of the dugout, the first base dugout here on this side.
I would say that baseball probably gets retired. We'll see what Matt Clark wants to know. He is saying that's a good baseball. If I was the governor, how about you just flip out baseballs just in case there's something that you might have missed? That one looked like it would have definitely got a slice in that baseball somewhere, but seems to be okay. So now here's the 0-1 pitch to Terwilliger. Swing and a miss on the curveball, and the count's now 0-2, and Juergens a strike away from getting out of danger here in the top of the first inning.
Pierre's got a team batting average of 237 this year, as opposed to 286 for Watertown.
That'll be upstairs, and the count's now 1-2. Ubaldo Jimenez was an all-star in 2010.
God, was it that long ago?
It was that long ago.
Wow.
That was the most innings he threw and earned himself a fat contract with Cleveland, I think, at that point, or Baltimore, excuse me.
Yeah.
There's a swing and a miss as Cooper Terwilliger ends up swinging a pitch upstairs, and that retires the side. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. No score after the top of the first is Watertown and Pierre, as the Arrows will come to the plate here at Heights Stadium. Back in a minute on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
As a family grows, so does its financial needs. There are doctors and dentists, optometrists, lessons, braces, groceries, and more groceries. Then, of course, there's cars, college, and weddings to pay for. First Fidelity Bank is here to make the financial side of growing a family a little easier. First Fidelity Bank. First-class banking on a first-name basis. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Online at ffb-sd.com.
Want technology solutions you can trust from a neighbor you know? Comtech, locally owned and serving Pierre and surrounding area since 2009, is dedicated to keeping your home, farm, and business connected and secure. We offer a full range of services, from audio and video, security, surveillance, and networking with expert installation and support. Visit our storefront, call us at 605-224-4066, or visit our website, comtechplus.com, to experience the Comtech difference. Comtech, your local technology experts.
Bottom of the first, no score between Pierre and Watertown. You're listening here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. It is for Watertown, Hayden Reese to lead things off. He is the third baseman. Mitch Olson is the right fielder batting second. Caden Rylance, the DH, batting third. Marcus Pitkin, the center fielder, will bat fourth. And Nate Briggs, the shortstop, batting fifth. Nash Berg, the first baseman, will bat sixth. Ashton Rabine, the left fielder, batting seventh. Trayton Hemrick, the second baseman, batting eighth. And Jonathan Lake will round out the order, batting ninth for the Watertown Arrows. And yes, it is the bottom of the first, and Watertown is coming to the plate. Watertown is the home team in game number 2. And then Pierre would be the home team in game 3 if we get to that point. And for the Governor fans, we want to see 3 games to be played here at Heights Stadium today. Watertown would like to go home after 2, but for Pierre, they've got to find a way to force Watertown to stay a little bit longer here at Heights Stadium, as Will Danberg will be the man on the mound for this Governor team. And for Danberg, 35 1/3 innings. That is the most innings on the team coming into today, and still ends up being the most innings on the team. He is 5-1 of the season in 5 starts, 8 appearances overall. This is his 6th start, 9th appearance. 30 hits, 16 runs, 7 earned, 7 walks, 27 strikeouts, a 1.39 ERA, a whip at 1.05, batting average against at 221 for Will Danberg. He will face, really, I mean, when you face this Watertown team, we've mentioned it quite a bit as the first pitch will miss low for ball 1 to Hayden Reese. You can basically say you're facing a college baseball lineup with all the guys that are going to go play college baseball. This, if you're looking at a college baseball lineup that you get to face as the sophomore is now behind 2-0 here to Hayden Reese.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, especially when you're playing in a regional round against, on paper, the number 12 seed. That you rarely would ever think that you're going to face a lineup with 6 guys that are going to go play college baseball.
This will be behind the mound, and Danberg will make an over-the-shoulder catch. He was the only guy to go make that play, and he's able to come off the mound, make an over-the-shoulder catch, and the leadoff man retired here in the bottom of the first inning. A little bit, that's not an easy play to make for a pitcher.
No.
A little bit, I guess, maybe easier going over the shoulder when you're taking about 5 steps back, but coming off the mound, that adds the extra level of difficulty for Danberg to make that catch cleanly, and the leadoff man retired.
That was actually a really, really good job of fielding his position by Will Danberg. Like you said, kind of an over the left shoulder catch as he was drifting back towards the second base side of the mound. As first pitch to Olson, Olson will lace that one into left field for at least a single. He's looking at maybe getting 2, and he will, as Hunsley in left tried to barehand the ball as it was hit relatively softly, but it'll end up being a double for Olson, his 2nd of the day, 5th of the season.
So he is now out at second with 1 out, and trouble here for the Governors in the bottom of the first inning. And here is Caden Rylance, the DH, who threw an excellent first game, 19 strikeouts in 7 innings of work, 2 hits, 1 unearned run allowed for Caden Rylance. And boy, I hope that he doesn't hit better than what he pitched, because that's not going to end well for the Governors, because it's going to be really tough for him to hit any better than what he threw in game number 1. But he is hitting .300 on the season with 4 doubles, 8 runs driven in. And the number 3 man who was feeling it in game 1 of the mound digs in for the first time, as time will be called.
There's something blowing around on the field, and that was why the
Twillier lost his sunglasses, or I guess he lost his hat, and then a piece of trash was on the field as well. And that will didn't realize that, I mean, it's not super windy here at Hyde Stadium, I guess, comparative to what it normally can be, but the wind is blowing out towards left field. Now here's the first pitch from Danberg to Rylance. Checks his swing, it is a strike, and it got away from the catcher, Sutton Sunshine, but Olson couldn't see it. And by the time he did, he had no chance of making it over to third, so that's a little bit of a break for the Governors.
Yeah, Olson, the best hitter statistically for Watertown, and it has shown as they're going to try to backpick him at second, but Olson's back there safely. 2 doubles so far for Olson. He's in that number 2 slot. You know, modern baseball strategy would tell you that you want arguably your best hitter hitting number 2, and that's where Olson slots in for post 17.
Rylance turns on that 0-1 pitch and will rip it foul down the third base line, and the count is now at an 0-2. Watertown, again, if they win, they're the number 8 seed. No other team will be a lower seed going in. They reseed like you would see in Class A and B in volleyball, basketball, something like that, where in, you know, the Sodak 16 in Class AA, you're just set in stone, regardless if you're the 16 seed or the 1 seed. There's taken for strike 3. Rylance didn't think it was a strike, but he is down looking, and there's 2 down here in the bottom of the first, and it brings up now Marcus Pitkin, the center fielder.
Great curveball there by Will Danberg, like you said. Outer half. Rylance maybe thought it was a little bit low, but rung up on strikes, got to protect with 2 strikes. He watches that one go by, and now the post 17 has 2 outs now here in the bottom of the first.
First pitch swinging for Pitkin, flies it out to George Stallion center field. He'll make the catch and retire the side. That's a big 0 in this first inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left on base. 1 complete here at Hyde Stadium. No score between Pierre and Watertown. Back in a minute on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Hey, yo, Speedo's Lawn Care.
Hello. Say, my yard's in rough shape. It's got weeds, brown spots, and crabgrass.
Yeah, no problemo. What shade of green you need? We got 31 shades of green over here. Even the latest shade of septic tank grass green. That one just naturally gives off a glow.
Call the professionals at True Green. They know how to get your lawn healthy and keep it healthy. They guarantee it. All technicians are trained and certified.
Call True Green, 224-1916.
When you're looking for quality trash pickup services, look no further than Envirotech. 6 days a week, their trucks are on the road picking up trash, even holidays. They're also the place to contact for recycling services. Their friendly, professional staff is ready to assist with weekly pickups or even special pickups. Check out the website at envirotechwaste.com. Envirotech is locally operated. Call 224-4804. Envirotech Waste Services in Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
It is the top of the second. No score on the American Family Insurance Brittany Shufflebind scoreboard. And it will be 6, 7, and 8 here for the Governors. Porter Hunsley will lead us off. Sunshine, and then Charlie Simpson. Game 2 of our best of 3 series. Watertown took game 1 6-1. Govs need to find a way to come back, win game number 2. And I mean come back as in dropping the first game and winning game 2. They don't have to come back necessarily in this game right now, as the first pitch misses for ball 1. And then it's a winner-take-all game 3, which will be still played here this afternoon. If Watertown wins, we're done. And we'll leave Hyde Stadium. Watertown will move on. If Pierre wins, we've got one more game right here at Hyde Stadium shortly after the game concludes for game 3. That one will miss, and the count's 3-0 here from Talon Jurgens to Porter Hunsley. 2 guys reach base in the first inning. Dawson Getz had a 4-pitch walk before a base hit from Rich Leinbach. 3-0 pitch taken all the way. That is ball 4. So a leadoff walk on 4 pitches to Hunsley. The Governors will see again, how much small ball do you want to play? Sutton Sunshine, he was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in game number 1. He's trying to find himself again. He's kind of struggled at the plate over the last couple weeks. And for Sunshine, who is hitting with a 276 batting average, you say he's been struggling, but he's still hitting 276. That one to be fouled away for strike 1.
And he's slashing 276, 432, 431, an OPS of 863, which is, unless you count guys that have had, 2 or 3 plate appearances, right up there is probably the second best OPS on the team.
Here's the 0-1 from Jurgens. Sunshine fouls that one away, and the count's 0-2. So kind of saying that and knowing that, saying Sunshine has struggled a little bit, that's pretty good for numbers to have for Sunshine to be struggling and to be hitting that well. It says that if he can find a way to jump back up and get a lot more base hits, he's going to be hitting the cover off the baseball. Here's the 0-2. Here's a line shot. That one to be caught by the shortstop. And an excellent leaping grab by the shortstop and Hayden Reed. Nate Briggs. And there's one down here in the bottom of the second. And Porter Hunsley, who was smart baseball by not getting too far off the bat, kind of freezing on that line drive. Briggs was trying to regain his balance, so there was no throw to first regardless. But it's a tough break for the Governors, which would have made it first and second with nobody out. Runner takes off. Simpson will foul it off of himself inside the batter's box for strike 1.
And Nate Briggs' play goes to show you why he's going to go play at the next level for Wayne State in Nebraska. What a play at shortstop that he just made to take away at least a single from Sutton Sunshine there, which would have put, at the very least, runners on first and second with nobody out, possibly first and third, given the speed of Hunsley. But excellent play, keeping Hunsley at first, and now having an out on the board for Watertown, as Jurgens now is able to go up 0-2 on Simpson here.
Simpson had the best game 1 of anybody. He went 1 for 2 with a single to walk. Runner takes off again, flown out to center field, backing up as a center fielder. Hunsley got all the way out of the second base bag and has to retreat to first as it was tracked down by Pitkin. And It will now be 2 away here in the top of the second inning. If that ball had hit the gap, Hunsley, who was standing on the second base bag, probably could have scored. But it was caught out there in center by Pitkin. 2 away, and it's now Hudson Stosher.
Yeah, what a play there by Pitkin in center. Great break. Went back to his right on a line back to that power alley, 383 in left center, and he's able to track that one down for out number 2.
Runner takes off, and Jackson Lake gets hit in the helmet after it was fouled away by Hudson Stosher. Make that Jonathan Lake gets hit. He was the one that he got hit in the helmet on a Ridge Lineback fastball in the first inning. Second inning of game number 1. Did not return in that game, but is back behind the plate. And one, it's a good sign, but shows a little bit of the toughness. There's a balk called against Talon Jurgens. So Hunsley will get seconds regardless of any kind of play. There is no pitch that is thrown then, so it's still an 0-1 count. And Hunsley is now at second base.
And I wondered if maybe they called that because he didn't come set for a full second there, or what the explanation was. But Jurgens didn't put up much of an argument, and neither did the Watertown coaching staff. So Hunsley now at second with 2 outs.
0-1 pitch. That one to be popped up right side as Berg will watch it get out of play. And the count's now 0-2. So an opportunity here for the Governors. Hunsley, who was going to be trying to steal second, got to second on the balk. And now a base hit from Hudson Stosher could make this a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second. Carter Shuffle by the top of the order. He is due up next. 0-2 pitch. That was a foul by Stosher. Good job there by Stosher to hang in with it. Fouled off the plate. Remains at 0-2.
And got caught out on his front foot there was Stosher, but able to spoil it, just get enough of it as it remains an 0-2 count.
Jurgens will come set. He'll deliver the 0-2 pitch. That one will miss low, and the count's now 1-2.
Boy, it would be huge if Stosher would be able to reach base here somehow and turn the lineup back over to Carter Shufflebein in the top of this Governor order.
Pierre hitting .268 coming into today with runners in scoring position. Here's the 1-2. That's upstairs. Now 2-2. 22 out RBIs in the season, of in total 91 RBIs for the Governors overall. 20 of those came with 2 outs. Looking for number 21. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That'll be off the catcher's glove. That'll be a pass ball that will get Hunsley over to third base. It's now a 3-2 count with 2 outs. That was kind of almost a close pitch to being called strike 3. And it just went off the glove of Lake in a pass ball that moves Hunsley over to third, and a base hit does score Hunsley.
Boy, you're right, John. I thought if that's caught clean, that maybe is strike 3.
3-2 pitch. That one back up the middle. That's a base hit, and the Govs take a 1-0 lead. A 2-out RBI single for Hudson Stosher and a 3-2 pitch, and the Govs have their first lead today.
Huge hit there from Hudson Stosher. Third baseman who did not start in game 1. He actually came in the top of the second of that ball game. So not a starter in game 1, starter here in game 2, hitting 9th for Pierre. But he comes in and delivers a huge knock to give the Govs the lead here in game 2.
Shufflebein, top of the zone for strike 1. He struck out swinging in the top of the first inning to lead off the ball game. He is so far 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts today. That one will be above the zone. They will check, and they will actually not even get an appeal. And the count goes to 1-1.
Shufflebein struggled today so far, but be looking to maybe turn those fortunes around here against Jurgens in game number 2.
1-1 pitch. That one catches the top of the zone, maybe a little bit inside. Shufflebein shaking his head. Didn't think that was strike 2, but the count's now 1-2. It's a tough pitch to try and do anything with. 1-2 pitch. Shufflebein stays back on the curveball, popped up on the right side. Be the right fielder coming in to call for it and also make the catch and retire the side. here at the top of the second. But a run does score for the Governors on an RBI 2-out single from Hudson Stosher. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and a man left on base. We head to the bottom of the second. It is a 1-0 lead for Pierre over Watertown. Back in a minute on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
When life throws you a curveball, May Adam Law Firm in Pierre is here to help you knock it out of the park. For over 130 years, we've been providing trusted legal expertise in business, family law, criminal defense, and more. Proud sponsors of this season's baseball action, we're committed to serving our community, both on and off the field. Need legal advice? Step up to the plate with May Adam Law Firm. Visit mayadam.net or call today. May Adam, South Dakota's law firm since 1881.
With any dream, the wind won't always be at your back, the sun won't always be shining, and some rain is going to fall. American Family Insurance is like a good, solid roof that you can trust to protect your biggest dreams. With plans that could save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. Also, you can continue to dream fearlessly, no matter what comes your way. American Family Insurance.
Visit mfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Contact the Brittany Shufflebind Agency, LLC, 224-6627. Bottom of the second, 1-0 lead for Pierre over Watertown, as the Watertown Arrows will have Nate Briggs, Nash Berg, and Ashton Rabine to the plate. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 here for Watertown in Game 2, bottom of the second. Again, Watertown is the home team in Game number 2. The Governors will return as the home team in Game 3 if we get to that point. John Wickler alongside Blake Dean as it turned out to be a beautiful day here at Hyde Stadium, and we more so say that than not when we get to be at Hyde Stadium. But 58 degrees right now. Forecast does not look good for Sunday through Wednesday baseball-wise. Forecast looks good if you're looking for some rain.
Absolutely.
It looks really good for you, but not looking so good to try and play some baseball. That's why we're playing all 3 games today. There's looking like 0 shot at playing Monday. Yankton and Brookings will play Monday if necessary, but that could be a strikingly different forecast down in Yankton than it would be here in Pierre. As the first pitch will be over for strike 1 to Nate Briggs. But we did not play last night. Rain from Wednesday night through Thursday and into Friday morning, afternoon kept us from being able to play last night, as this will be fouled away. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say graduation weekend being graduation tomorrow. Forecast doesn't look great anyway for tomorrow to try and play, but just everything that's going on, that the 3 games in one day became pretty much the only option at this point for Pierre and Watertown. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Nate Briggs. High chopper over to Getz, takes a nice hop to him up to his chest. Throw to first to Williger, uses that frame to stay on the bag and make the catch stretching out, and there's 1 down here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, and to your point, was just looking at the weather down in Yankton for Monday, and they've got, it's supposed to really rain early in the day, but they've got essentially a 30% or 20% chance the rest of the way from like 8 a.m. until throughout the rest of the day. So I would be surprised if that continues to hold, if Yankton and Brookings are going to continue to play Game 3 Monday if they need it, that maybe they'd look to change that. Granted, if they're going to start later, they really don't have a choice. So
I was going to say, they play at 5 o'clock. If they decide to try and play all 3 games in one day, that could be a 10 o'clock start tonight down in Yankton. But that is, rarely do you, granted, of course we have not seen that because it's only the second year of having this format for high school baseball. Here's a line shot into center field for a base hit for Nashberg. Hit a 2 RBI single back in Game 1. That is his second hit today. And the second hit of the game for Watertown. There's a runner on at first here with 1 down. Here at the bottom of the second, Ashton Rabine, the left fielder, will come to the plate. But, you haven't really seen that be necessary in Legion baseball, mostly because it feels like, the water faucet gets turned off in the summertime at that point in late July. You hardly see any rain at all. Mm-hmm. But, just a little bit more of some, I wouldn't say unpredictable weather, but just in general. And, of course, with school not being in session, you can, if there's a bad chance of rain, you can just play it, on a Wednesday afternoon at 12 o'clock and then come back and play at 6 o'clock Thursday if you have whatever you might have to do. It's a little bit different with school. But it did change a lot of, I don't know if anybody really had the right schedule that they started with. This will be a wild pitch that will move the runner to second in Nashburg. Now the tying run is in scoring position here with one out. I think Lincoln and T were the only teams, Lincoln and T and then O'Gorman and Aberdeen, I think, are the only two series that did not change times at all. They stuck with what they were going to do from the start to the finish. Everybody else had some kind of adjustment. Maybe Brandon Valley didn't change either, and Roosevelt. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a swing and a miss, and the count's now 1-2. Stevens and Mitchell they're underway. They got going about 20 minutes ago. That's the only other game being played right now, as Yankton and Brookings will play at 5 o'clock. We hope to see that they start theirs before we're done with ours. This will bounce in. Good block there by Sunshine as they're trying to get Rabine to chase. There is no score in that Stevens-Mitchell game right now. Rabine is hitting .211 on the season, just 4 of 20. Made that 4 of 19. Here's a 2-2 pitch from Danberg. From the stretch, that will hit him. And it's now first and second here with one away. Trayton Hemrick, the second baseman, will come to the plate. But the double play is in order, so an opportunity for a ground ball to get Danberg out of this inning.
Now batting the second baseman, number 7.
Yeah, and Hemrick, one of those 6, we'll call him the college 6, one of the college 6 that's going to come up to hit here, going to Mount Marty next year to play. And he's got a chance to, with a single here, potentially put put Watertown even here with the Govs here in game number 2.
Making sure that Rabine is okay. That one caught him around the elbow forearm area. That does not feel good. Maybe he got more towards the wrist too. He was holding onto that wrist or forearm area over at first base. First pitch is over for strike 1 to Trayton Hemrick. Hemrick in game number 1, he went 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch, but he struck out twice and grounded out. Just 2 hits so far for each team. The Governors do have the 1-0 lead right now. The 0-1, I want to be fouled back, and the count's 0-2. This is number 8 man in the batting order. Jonathan Lake, the catcher, he is on deck. After being hit in the second inning of game 1 in the helmet and having to be removed from the game, he does come back just a couple hours later and able to play here in game number 2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball. That one takes a hard hop. Nice play by Stosher. The throw to first. Picked out by Terwilliger. What a double play by Stosher and Terwilliger. A 5-3 double play. And an incredible job by Stosher after that one took a wild hop almost away from him. And that will take us through the second inning. A 1-0 lead for Pierre over Watertown through 2. Back in a minute here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Looking for your next new or used car, truck, or SUV? Then go no further than the comfort of your own home. Shop online at lambmotor.com. On lambmotor.com, you'll find the vehicles Lambs has in stock. You can schedule a test drive or your vehicle's next tune-up all online. New or used, shop for it all online anywhere you are. Lamb Motor has the right vehicle for you. Lamb Motor in Oneida and online, lambmotor.com.
No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 28 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agricultural. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. Call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. That's 223-2518. Todd's Electric, serving the Pierre and Fort Pierre areas. The line to power.
We'll see if the Governors can turn that momentum into multiple runs here in this third inning. Double play by itself is always it's called a twin killing for a reason. It's really a deflating thing for an offense. But the way that double play was turned by Stosher and Terwilliger, it took a hard hop off the lip of the infield grass that Stosher had to reach out to his right and make the play. It was destined for the corner out in left field that would have easily scored 2 runs, but instead he was able to touch the bag at third, throw it to first. Terwilliger scoop over at first base, might have gotten away and scored a run that way too, and instead it's a 1-0 lead through 2 innings, and that was an even bigger double play, Blake, for this Governor team.
Yeah, that ball actually took Hudson Stosher into foul territory. That ball hopped over the third base bag when he fielded the ball. That was, he had it, his momentum took him into foul territory over on the third base side. So not only was he able to step on the bag and make a throw over to first, but you're right, an excellent scoop by Terwilliger, and that momentum has swung, the momentum pendulum has swung the way of the Govs here in this top of the third, and we'll see if they can use it to their advantage and maybe put up a crooked number here.
Juergens, curveball. They will say that Stalley swung on the 0-1 pitch, and the count's now 0-2. So a 0-2 count here to Stalley. That was close to being a check swing. But instead, 0-2 count. Stalley will rip that out towards left center field, but it will hang up and caught by Pitkin out in center. And the leadoff man retired here in the top of the third inning to bring up Dawson Getz. Again, this is the top of the third with the Governors batting. Watertown is the home team in game 2. Getz walked in the first inning and then was left stranded over at third. So this is a big spot here for the Governors, and after that double play, can the Govs find a way to get some runs on the board, leading 1-0. First pitch is swing and a miss by Getz above the letters.
And the Govs are squaring up the ball, really, John. I mean, you think about the last hit that Stalley had as Getz watches the curveball for strike 2. Stalley lines one to Pitkin in the outfield for an out. Sutton Sonnenschein lined one, which took a great play by Briggs to get an out as Getz pops that one foul, and it will just land out of the reach of Lake to remain an 0-2 count. Another one that they put out in the alley earlier as well. I can't remember if it was
Charlie Simpson.
Was it Simpson? Okay. That Pitkin had to really range over to his right to make a play. I mean, really, the Govs are seeing the ball out of the hand of Juergens significantly better than they did against Rylance in game number 1.
Here's the 0-2. That'll almost hit Getz and missed inside for ball 1. Count goes to 1-2 for Dawson Getz. This is 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. The number 3 man right now for Getz. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Juergens, and a swing and a miss, and Getz will strike out, and there's 2 down quickly here in the top of the third inning, and it brings up Ridge Leinbach. He is 1 for 1. He singled with 2 outs back in the top of the first inning. It moved it, Getz over to third base. And the Govs were unable to cash in. Leinbach waits on the first pitch from Juergens. That first pitch will miss low for ball 1.
Ridge and Hudson Stosher, the only 2 Govs so far with hits in game number 2. Both of them very big hits as they both came with runners on base.
There's a swing and a miss by Leinbach, and the count's 1-1. And that leadoff walk to Porter Hunsley turned in favor for the Governors. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Here's a ground ball left side. That was a diving stop by Briggs. The throw from the shortstop is going to be in time to get him. What a play from Nate Briggs over at short, diving in the hole to his right, and got up to throw a strike to retire Leinbach, and ends the top of the third. Star plays from the bottom of the second and the top of the third to end innings. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We head to the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 for Pierre and Watertown with the Govs on top. Back in a minute here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. Your Pierre area Edward Jones Financial Advisors understand this. That's why Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of Governor Athletics on KCCR. Go Govs! For all your investment needs, call or stop by one of our offices to visit with your Pierre area Edward Jones financial advisor. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Stolken Peterson LLP has been your local CPA firm for over 40 years, offering tax preparation, bookkeeping, payroll, and consulting services. If your business, farm, or ranch needs professional, accurate, and reliable services, we are your firm. Our clients are our #1 priority. If you need a higher level of accounting service, give us a call at 605-224-5828. That's Stolken Peterson LLP, 222 East Missouri Avenue in Pierre. It is the bottom of the third, and there is a 1-0 lead on the American Family Insurance Brittany Shufflebein scoreboard. And it will be for Watertown, 9-1-2. Jonathan Lake, Hayden Reese, and Mitch Olson. He might reach his base, and will go to Rylance. And a 1-0 advantage here for this Governor team. That was an excellent play, Blake, by the shortstop and Nate Briggs to rob Leimbach of a 2-for-2 start of the day. And again, another reason why we're seeing he's going to be playing some college baseball next year.
Yeah, 2 outstanding defensive plays from the Watertown shortstop in this ball game. One on a line drive that looked like it might have a chance to get over his outstretched glove, but he's able to stick up that left arm and make a play. And then for the last out of that inning, ranging over to his right, diving play in the hole to cut off the baseball, and then scramble to his feet and throw a seed over to Berg at first to get Leimbach by a half step to end the inning for Watertown and keep it a 1-0 game here in the bottom of the third. Again, one of the reasons why he is one of the college 6 for Watertown.
1-1 pitch here to Jonathan Lake, the catcher. That one's over for a strike of the knees, and the count's now 1-2. Lake is hitting .344. He does have a double, 12 runs driven in. Again, one of those 4 guys that have 10-plus RBIs for Watertown this spring season. There's a ground ball to the left side. Gets will wait on it. He will field. His throw to first will be in time, and the leadoff man is retired here in the bottom of the third inning. And again, the mental toughness of Jonathan Lake after being hit in the helmet. He came out of the game, did not come back in game 1, but then comes out and as a catcher, he gets right back in the batter's box. Yeah, he grounds out, but boy, that's in the same day that happens. Got to be that can't be easy for anybody to try and do. And Jonathan Lake looks like nothing even happened to him in that first at bat as the first pitch is upstairs to Hayden Reese.
Yeah, and to that point, he was not the only Watertown batter that Leimbach hit. The other one was Hayden Reese, who's now in the batter's box as well, and he was hit in the helmet and went down at the end of game number 1. He did lead off game number 2 here. He is 0 for 1 so far, and his only at bat afterwards, this being his second, but he was also able to put his bat on the ball and put one in play.
Here's a ground ball over to Shufflebein. That one goes underneath Shufflebein into right field, and that'll be a 1-out error. One looked like it was going to, for Shufflebein, looked like he thought it was going to take a nice hop up into his chest, and then it stayed down, and he did not stay down on it. And so it'll be a 1-out error, first one of the day for the Govs, or first one of game 2 for the Govs. And overall, the 5th error of the day for Pierre. And Mitch Olson now, who has got 2 doubles today, he's 1 for 1 with a double in this game. An opportunity to extend his great day and give Watertown a chance to try and tie this ball game up. That would miss high for ball 1.
Yeah, and to that point, this is probably the last guy you want to see in the batter's box if you're the Govs is Mitch Olson, the right fielder. 2 doubles so far on the day for Watertown, the Watertown right fielder. Another one of the reasons why he's going to go play at the next level next year as he steps in. And
this will be flown out into right field. That one will be foul and will be off the fence. So the count is now 1-1.
Hit that one about 300 feet, but just a little bit, pulled it just a little bit too much there, did Mitch Olson. But he has shown you why he is going to go play Division II college baseball next year because, not only did he have the double to the right center power alley, but he also had one up the left field line, which goes to show that this is a kid that can hit to all fields.
Here's the 1-1 pitch from Danberg. There's a line shot. Diving for Shufflebein, but he can't make the catch. It'll get into right field for a base hit. He might have got a piece of it that slowed it down just a little bit. He laid out for that one. That could have been a double play if Shufflebein had made the catch with the runner at first and Reese almost halfway to second. He was starting to go back to first base, but it is a one-out single. And it's first and second here with one away, and it's now Caden Rylance. Rylance struck out looking in his first at-bat. This is a big spot. Number 3 man in the batting order. First and second with one away. Here's the first pitch. There's a ground ball on the left side. Gets, will field. The only play will be to first. It's not going to be in time, and the bases are now loaded here with one away. Gets had to field that one in the hole on his back foot and had to try and fire that across the diamond. And Rylance beat it out by half a step, and the bases are loaded here with another infield single, and Marcus Pitkin to the plate. Cleanup man here now for Watertown.
Now you're going to see the corners come in for the Govs in Terwilliger and Stoscher, trying to cut the run at the plate to keep this, to preserve this lead if they end up fielding the ball.
First pitch is fouled back to the netting for strike one. Pitkin flew out to Stalley to finish out the first inning. He is 1 for 5 so far today. Has a single back in the top of the 5th in game number 1. 0 for 1 here in this ball game. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Will Danberg from the windup. That'll miss low. Sunshine was able to block that one up. And the count's 1-1. Bases are loaded. Reese over at third. Olsen at second. Rylance at first. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big swing and a miss there from Pitkin. It's a strikeout opportunity here for Danberg.
And I think if you're Danberg, you stick with the off-speed stuff. You know, they've really been hitting his fastball, kind of squaring it up here. I think you stick to the off-speed, try to get Pitkin to chase here on 1-2.
The 1-2 pitch from Danberg. Off-speed, swing and a miss, a strikeout, and there's 2 down. Sudden sunshine, Will Danberg and Blake Dean all on the same page. 2 away, a second strikeout for Danberg. And now it's Nate Briggs.
Now that allows the infielders to go back to normal depth here with 2 outs, as Nate Briggs has a chance to not only be the defensive hero so far for Watertown, but potentially the offensive hero here with 2 outs.
First pitch here to Briggs. That one's over for strike one. Might have been expected an off-speed pitch. And then he comes back with the fastball to catch in the outside corner for strike one. Bases still loaded here with Watertown down 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Trying to tie and take the lead here in this third inning. 0-1 pitch. That one will miss low, and the count's 1-1.
Very minimal leads from the Watertown base runners so far before, as Danberg's going to be out of the windup here, but their initial leads are very, very short. They get large secondaries as Danberg goes into his windup, which is smart. They don't want to risk getting picked off.
Here's the 1-1 from Danberg. Swing and a miss, and the count's now 1-2. And a big pitch upcoming here from Will Danberg. One nothing lead for Pierre. Bottom of the third, 2 outs, bases loaded. Briggs at the plate. Danberg gets the sign from the windup, delivers the 1-2 pitch. That'll miss low. Another great block there by Sudden Sunshine. And the confidence a pitcher can have throwing a pitch in the dirt, knowing that Sunshine is blocking it up, that gives you that opportunity to miss where you want to miss and not miss in the strike zone and potentially give up a base hit. Here's now the 2-2 pitch. High fly ball to left field. Stallion racing after it. It is going to be over his head, down off the wall. 2 runs will score. They're going to wave Rylance around trying to score. There will be no throw. It's a bases clearing, a 2-out double for Nate Briggs, who gives Watertown a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the third inning.
And again, just showing that not only is he the defensive hero so far for Watertown in Game 2, but now the offensive hero as he belts a belt-high fastball from Danberg on a 2-2 pitch over the head of George Stalley that one hops the wall out in left center. Everybody's off with the pitch because it's 2 outs, and that clears the bases for Watertown, giving them a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the third.
Here's Nash Berg, first pitch swinging. That one's floated into left center field. That is a base hit. Another run will come in to score. Hunsley thought about trying to fire home, and instead will throw it to second. It is now a 4-1 lead. All 4 runs have been unearned in this inning for Will Danberg. And that extends that lead out to 3 runs here in this bottom of the third inning. And it will bring up Ashton Rabine. Or are we going to have a pinch hitter?
Yep, you're going to get a pinch hitter. That'll be
Luca Lesson.
Yep.
So Luca Lesson will hit for Rabine. I'm not sure what the conversation with Coach Neal, maybe he was saying that he's going to hit and then Rabine maybe will come back into the game. But either way, there is Lesson to the plates. He is hitting 200 so far, just 3 of 16. Does have a double and 2 runs driven in on the season for Lesson. 4-1 advantage here for Watertown. There's a fly ball to center field. George Stalley will camp underneath it, and that will put an end to the inning. 8 men come to the plate. It was going to be 4 runs in total on 4 hits. There was an error and 1 man left on base. We head to the top of the 4th. It is now a 4-1 lead for Watertown. Back in a minute here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Swing for the fences with a great deal from Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota in Pierre. Whether you need a powerful truck, a fuel-efficient sedan, or a spacious SUV, they've got the perfect lineup to keep you on the road and in the game. Don't strike out. Stop by today or visit CapitalCityFordToyota.com. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota, where the best deals in town are always in play.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
It is the top of the 4th inning. The Pierre Governors are down 4-1 on the American Family Insurance Brittany Shufflebine scoreboard. And it is going to be Cooper Twilliger, Porter Hunsley, and Sutton Sunshine. The first pitch will miss low for ball 1. Here to Twilliger, who is 0 for 0 with a strikeout. And this is an inning where it's a shutdown inning for Watertown, as Twilliger will sky this out into center field, but it will hang up enough and barely having to move for it as the center fielder in Pitkin. The leadoff man retired here in the top of the 4th inning. But just so far, Pierre in game number 1 had 3 unearned runs in the 6-1 loss. Yeah, Watertown had an unearned run as well, but that is now 7 unearned runs, as all 4 are unearned in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And you can't give good teams that many unearned runs in a ball game and over a course of a best-of-3 series and expect to win games. Here's the 0-1 pitch that is fouled back, and the count's 0-2.
Especially a team that has, I feel like we're a broken record here, but especially a team that's got 6 kids on their roster that are going to go play college baseball next year.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. That'll bounce into Porter Hunsley, and the count's 1-2. Again, if Pierre ends up coming back, winning this game, and then winning game 3, they will play at 2:30 next Friday against Jefferson. If Watertown ends up winning here in this game or still wins game number 3, they will play at noon next Friday against Harrisburg, as Hunsley swings and misses, and there's 2 quickly down here in the top of the 4th. And it will bring up now Sutton Sunshine. Post 8 baseball, their first game is coming up at the end of May. On Thursday, May 29th, they will host the Brookings Bandits. This will be fouled over towards the first base dugout for strike 1 to Sutton Sunshine. We don't want to be talking about that being our next baseball broadcast. We want to be on the air about 2:15 next Friday. But just as we get at the end of the season, regardless of if they win or not, this will be flown out to left field. The left fielder backing up, and that catch will be made, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Watertown in the top of the fourth. 4-1 is our score. Watertown leads Pierre. Back in a minute here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Is it the competition that keeps bringing you back? The long-standing rivalries? Or is it seeing friends again and cheering on your favorite team? At First Dakota, we're here for it all. We appreciate the fans, the players, the coaches and officials, the concessions crew. The shared community experience is part of what makes life here great, and we're here for it. See you at the game. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
For over 60 years, Ferding Electric has been powering homes and businesses across central South Dakota. When you need reliable electrical service, trust the experts with decades of experience. Whether it's a simple residential repair, a complex commercial installation, or even electrical work on your farm, Ferding Electric has you covered. And if you're tired of searching everywhere for that hard-to-find bulb, Ferding Electric carries a wide selection of bulbs, including those hard-to-find fluorescent and specialty options. Visit us at 2903 East Elizabeth Street or call today, 605-224-8684.
Bottom of the fourth, 4-1 lead for Watertown over Pierre as they look to extend that lead here on American Family Insurance Brittany Shuffleby scoreboard. And again, 5 teams have already advanced. So the top, well, I wouldn't say the top 5 teams, but the top 4 teams, along with the Brandon Valley, the 7 seed being the 10 seed Roosevelt. So Harrisburg, Lincoln, O'Gorman, Jefferson, and then Brandon Valley have all advanced. Stevens has a 3-0 lead over Mitchell right now, make that 3-1. Looks like maybe Mitchell just scored a run. They did. To make it a 3-1 game in the bottom of the third out in Rapid City. Mitchell has to win to force a game 3. And then Yankton and Brookings, by the time that they get done with game 1, 7 of the 8 teams, the other 7 series will be done by the time that they get done with that first game. But they will be the final team for the puzzle of the quarterfinals. And they'll know exactly where they fit in depending on if Yankton wins or if Brookings wins. As Trayton Hemrick will lead things off here in the top of the fourth, or make that the bottom of the fourth here for Watertown. Here is the first pitch here to Hemrick. Excuse me, and that one will be a swing and a miss for strike 1. Watertown finished at 9-9 in the regular season. They went 9-12, making that 9-11 overall, and finished in 12th place. Had Pierre won against Lincoln, or just take any game and turn that into a win, and Pierre's probably sitting at, I think, at least number 3 taking on Aberdeen or number 2 taking on T. Lincoln, especially if they would have beat Lincoln, that would have switched things around a lot too. Lincoln got a 50-point win for beating the Governors. Here's a ground ball that's going to get off of the glove of Stosher, and it will be a leadoff man on base here to kick off the bottom of the fourth, and it's number 9 man now in Jonathan Lake. That'll be an error charge to Stosher.
Yeah, tough hop there by Stosher over at third base. Kind of hit that lip again. That's one of the things you have to be aware of if you're playing, especially the hot corner here at Hyde Stadium, is that can be a very dangerous lip over at third that can create some crazy hops, which we saw as Reese is going to square to bunt here.
Lake will drop it down. Throw to first will be in time, and that will be the first man out. The sacrifice is good. 1-3 on the sacrifice, and it's now back to the top of the order. And Hayden Reese will come to the plate, who is 0 for 2 after popping out behind the pitching mound to the pitcher in Will Danberg. Reese then got on with a 1-out error last inning in the top of the third, which helped then extend the inning, more or less extend the inning out to having 4 runs score for Watertown. Here's the first pitch to Reese. That'll be upstairs for ball 1.
But yeah, going back to kind of tie a bow on that thought, third base is a very tough place to play here at Hyde because there can be some wild hops. We saw that back in the second, and you just saw that one there from Stosher as he tried to range over to his left, as Reese is able to spoil that one out of play. 4 strike 1, but like I said, just a tough place to play, especially on a infield that changes from grass to dirt very quickly, and just off the glove of Stocher that allowed the runner to get on base in Hemrick, and he's now at second here with 1 out.
Here's the 1-1 to Reese. Swing and a miss on the curveball, and the count's now 1-2. That was pitch number 51 by Danberg here with 3 1/3 innings pitched so far. 60 pitches for Talon Jurgens through 4 innings. So he's starting to ramp up on pitches. Only got 45 left for Jurgens, but still with only 3 innings remaining, he has an opportunity to maybe go the distance. That'll miss just outside. The count's now 2-2. And again, J.J. Buchholz, a guy, a senior for you. You want to get to game 3, and he'd probably be your starter. But at some point, if Danberg can't finish the game pitch count wise, there's a swing and a miss and a strikeout of Reese, and there's now 2 down. And depending on what the score is, and if you're trailing at all, you feel like you have to go to Buchholz because you can't just assume that you're going to get there for game 3. That's one of the hardest things is you got 3 good starters with the Leinbach, Danberg, and Buchholz, but you got to make sure that you throw Buchholz if necessary to make sure you get to game 3.
Yeah.
And then worry about, because you got other pitchers that can go up there and spin it or sling it into the strike zone.
Yep.
As that'll be outside for ball 1 here to Mitch Olson. But you would love to see Buchholz be the starter for game number 3.
Yeah, and really you just kind of piece together things from there afterwards. You worry about getting to game 3 first, and then you piece things together afterwards once you get there.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's over for a strike. The count's now 1-1. Now, Brendan McCullough and Porter Hunsley, who threw in game 1, they are both eligible to pitch here in game 2 or 3, depending on how things go. Only Ridge Leinbach unavailable to throw the rest of today.
And now Danberg.
Yeah, now Danberg once he is done. Here's the 1-1 pitch here to Olson. There's a line shot into right center field that is down for a base hit, and his day continues to be great. It'll be a RBI single for Olson, and it's a 5-1 lead. And he has just been incredibly tough to get out. 3 hits in this game, 2 doubles, 2 singles. He's now got his first RBI. He has been the best hitter for Watertown here today in a 5-1 lead for the Arrows.
And I almost thought, as dangerous as he's been, maybe you think about putting him on first base and setting up a force out anywhere, because at this point, his run would mean that it would be a 6-1 ball game. His run doesn't mean as much as the run on second did. So, maybe that's a thought there, but you decide to pitch to him, and he makes you pay like he's been doing all day.
4 hits on the day for Olson. Caden Rylance, who had an infield single. He's up in the count 2-0 now to Danberg, or from Danberg. Pierre will have 8, 9, and 1 in the 5th inning. All of a sudden, their season is down to the final 9 outs. Down by 4 here in game number 2. A 4-run third, and now another run here in the 4th. Not insurmountable lead, but Pierre's going to find a way to string hits together. This will be skied up. This will be got to be the pitcher in Danberg to make the catch and retire the side here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Another run scores. And another unearned run that comes in to score. With 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left on base, we head to the top of the 5th. It is a 5-1 lead for Watertown over Pierre. Back in a minute on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
For over 60 years, Ferding Electric has been powering homes and businesses across central South Dakota. When you need reliable electrical service, trust the experts with decades of experience. Whether it's a simple residential repair, a complex commercial installation, or even electrical work on your farm, Ferding Electric has you covered. And if you're tired of searching everywhere for that hard-to-find bulb, Ferding Electric carries a wide selection of bulbs, including those hard-to-find fluorescent and specialty options. Visit us at 2903 East Elizabeth Street or call today, 605-224-8684. Venture Communications has deep roots in rural South Dakota. Venture now proudly provides fiber to the home with 100% of our customers, enabling them to enjoy super fast and reliable internet connections. We'd like the opportunity to keep you in touch with the people and resources that matter most. 100% fiber and 100% committed to rural South Dakota. Call Venture Communications today at 605-852-2224, 605-852-2224, or online at venturecom.net.
Top of the fifth inning. It is a 5-1 lead for Watertown here in game number 2 in our best-of-3 series. If Pierre does not come back and win this ball game, Watertown will advance to the state tournament next Friday in the quarterfinals to take on Harrisburg. First pitch will be upstairs for ball 1 to Charlie Simpson. Pierre comes back and wins game 2. We will play game 3 and finish out a 3-game day here at Hyatt Stadium. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That is upstairs, and the count's now 2-0. Here to Charlie Simpson, 8-9-1 here for the Governors. Yankton and Brookings, they will start their series at 5 o'clock tonight. That'll be upstairs, just missing upstairs, and the count's 3-0.
And Juergens, that for him was pitch number 63, 64 coming up here. So like you mentioned in that last inning, John, pitch count starting to climb up for him, as that will be a 4-pitch walk to put Simpson on the board, or on base, I should say. And now an opportunity for Hudson Stosher, who did have a huge hit back in top of the second, to maybe start something here in the top of the fifth. But Juergens has been fantastic since the Stosher single back in the second.
Juergens is very efficient when he's walking guys. He's only got 3 walks, but he's thrown a combined 12 pitches on those 3 walks.
Yeah.
All of his walks have been
4-pitch
walks. Yeah, that counts 0-1 here to Hudson Stosher. Guess if you're going to walk somebody, you might as well just walk him in 4 pitches and be done with it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's upstairs, and the count's now 1-1. Does save you some pitches. Probably, I mean, if you make it a full count, that at least saved you 6 pitches at or well, a little bit more, but saved you at least 6 pitches or so. Here's a 1-1 pitch. That's upstairs, and the count's 2-1 here to Stosher. As Blake mentioned, RBI single back at the top of the second. Made it 1-0 at the time. Governors got the 0 in the bottom of the second, but then 4 unearned runs in the third, another unearned run in the fourth. It's a 5-1 lead for Watertown. 2-1 pitch. Here's a ground ball left side. That is going to be somehow caught. The throw to first is going to be offline. It'll be an infield single for Hudson Stosher. And the Jeter-esque type throw from Nate Briggs was wide of the mark, but Stosher was going to beat it out anyway, and he's now 2 for 2. More of a, I don't know, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr. type throw now, comparative to back in our day when it was the Jeter throw.
We're so old.
Right, exactly. That was what, the Jeter throw, did that happen in the 90s? The late 90s, or is that the early 2000s when he had that iconic throw?
I don't know when he started it, but, I mean, he continued it throughout his whole career. Scheffelbein fouls that one back to the screen for strike 1.
Some would say he had to do it because he wasn't good enough defensively to get there early enough.
Ooh, you're going to make Yankee fans mad with that one.
That's all right. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That'll be catching. Scheffelbein backed away from him, but he caught the inside part of the plate, and the count's now 0-2. It wouldn't be the first time that I made Yankees fans mad. It certainly will not be the last time either.
Absolutely.
Here's the 0-2 pitch now to Scheffelbein. That one to be fouled away. It remains at 0-2.
But even though Briggs had to make that throw, just the fact that he even got to that ball, he has been a wizard over there defensively for Watertown here in game number 2.
Throwing an Ozzie Smith reference, too?
A little bit. Throwing an Ozzie Smith reference for the Cardinal fans out there.
0-2 pitch is upstairs, and the count's now 1-2. Now, if he starts doing backflips as he's coming out to shortstop, we're going to have the game's pretty much going to be over at that point.
Yeah.
if he's doing that while he's working his way out to shortstop area. Yeah. Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a swing and a miss. Scheffelbein swings at the curveball and strikes out for the first out here in the top of the 5th inning. He's now 0 for 3. And it will bring up the number 2 man, George Stalley, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout to center.
Ozzie Smith, obviously former Cardinal. He played for the Padres, too, if I remember correctly.
The barehanded diving stop that he had was with the Padres.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a wild play.
That is one of the greatest plays. Here's a ground ball to Briggs over at short. He will throw the short way to third, and they will retire the only man possible, but they do retire the lead runner. And there's now 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning, and it brings up Dawson Getz.
Another. Oh, go ahead.
I was say goes down to the fielder's choice, 6-5 on the ground out.
Another smart play defensively by Nate Briggs. I have been really impressed by the Watertown shortstop defensively throughout this entire game. Always makes the right play, has made plays that really, some would say, seem unmakeable, as Getz fouls that one away for strike one. But he has really, really done a good job of keeping Pierre, limiting the damage that Pierre has had, and keeping Watertown's 5-1 lead preserved here in the top of the fifth, as Getz fouls that one down the third baseline for strike two.
Yeah, it's not just the flashy plays for Briggs. It's been the routine plays that he has made easy and made, just that last play, very smart play to make as well. It's been everything for Briggs over at short. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Getz. Ground ball to the right side. It'll be fielded by the second baseman. The throw to first, and reaching out was Berg to stay on the bag as well and retire Dawson Getz to end the top of the fifth inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We head to the bottom of the fifth inning. It is a 5-1 lead for Watertown over Pierre. Back in a minute on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Yag Air Incorporated is your locally owned ag chemical and seed retailer. Yag Air Incorporated offers reliable ground and aerial application. For the latest seed and chemical pricing, contact Kyle at 605-280-8710 or Tony at 605-280-4771. Yag Air for all your ag chemical and seed needs. Kyle 605-280-8710 or Tony 605-280-4771.
You just got a quote from a company and are now being billed for not choosing them. Many contracts have what's referred to as a contingency agreement. These typically state that if you don't go with them, you, after insurance has approved the repair work, will be charged a percentage of the job they quoted. Ask up front if they charge to provide an estimate. Never sign anything that you haven't fully read or understand. If you have any questions, reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Welcome you back here, bottom of the fifth. It is a 5-1 lead for Watertown. They are the home team here in game number 2. So the Govs are down to their final 6 outs now of their season, as Watertown will have 4, 5, and 6. Marcus Pitkin, Nate Briggs, and Nash Berg. It was Watertown that eliminated Pierre last summer in the regional round in the Legion season. The Post-State was playing some of his best baseball at the end of that season and gave Watertown 2 really tight games and had a chance to win at least one of those 2 games. They gave themselves a chance to win both those games. They lost 3-2 and 3-0 in those 2 games. But overall, it is now here in this spring season that Watertown is coming here to Hyatt Stadium and playing this Governor team and trying to eliminate them again in the spring season. Here is Marcus Pitkin to lead things off. He'll swing at the first pitch, slowly grounded down the third base line. Stosher will pick it up foul. And a first pitch strike to Pitkin. Watertown, again, this, it's just hard to think this isn't the 8-9 matchup.
Right.
Or that this wouldn't be a 4 or 5 game when it turns into the top 4 teams going into where it used to be top 4 going into the state tournament. But this is the 5-12 contest. 0-1 pitch will be upstairs, and the count's now 1-1. Now, I don't think Watertown really enjoyed being the 12 seed, but overall they knew whatever seed they were going to be at, they were going to be a tough team to beat for anybody that they were going to go play against. Here's the 1-1 pitch. As Pitkin will fly this out towards right center field, coming in. Simpson diving is Stalley, and he makes the catch. A fantastic diving grab by Stalley out in right center field to take away a hit from Marcus Pitkin. There's one down at the bottom of the fifth.
What a play by George Stalley there, laying everything on the line, getting to that ball. That was a sinking liner, or sinking fly ball. More so looked like over the head of Carter Scheffelbein at second, and Stalley had to race in to even have a shot to catch the ball. Laid out, made a fantastic catch in shallow right center. for out number 1.
Here is now Nate Briggs, who had the 3 RBI double that gave Watertown a 3-1 lead in that bottom of the 3rd inning as the first pitch is over for strike 1.
And really the fate of this game so far came on 2 pitches. It was the 2-2 pitch that Briggs lined to center that one-hopped the wall and left center that cleared the bases. And then the very next pitch was a pitch that Berg hit kind of a Texas Leaguer single over the head of Dawson Getz at short that scored Briggs to make it a 4-1 game at the time. And now a 5-1 lead for Watertown. So really the entirety of this ball game came on back-to-back pitches back in the 3rd.
This will be fouled out of play on the right side. Simpson gave chase, but it does go out of play. And the count's now 1-2 here to Nate Briggs. And again, RBIs for 3 for Briggs, that 1 for Berg, as Blake was talking about. Then the RBI single for Mitch Olson. All came with 2 outs. It all came with an error in the inning with 2 outs. As that'll miss, and the count's now 2-2. The story of these 2 games right now, and Pierre obviously has 6 outs to work with. They're only down by 4. That's still time to come back and try and win this ball game. Here's the 2-2. This will be chopped at the plate. That is foul. But in total, 8 unearned runs for Watertown to score 8 times unearned is just a tough way. And again, you're not going to win a lot of ball games when you're giving up that many unearned runs. And Pierre's played good defense throughout this entire season. This will be high for ball 3. They had been played good defense and got good pitching throughout this entire season. Their hitting was spotty throughout the year. And you would like to hit the ball a lot better than what they did throughout the entire regular season and somewhat into day 2, as this will be flown out towards left center field. That is sinking, diving, it's Hunsley, and he makes the catch. Porter Hunsley robs extra bases from Nate Briggs, and back-to-back diving plays by the Governors here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Boy, what a play by Porter Hunsley. That's back-to-back plays by the Governor outfield. Stalley and Hunsley now for out number 2 on line drives or shallow fly balls that I didn't think that either of them had a chance to make a play, and both of them did. What excellent outfield defense by the Governors here in this bottom of the 5th.
First pitch is fouled out of play on the left side. Then it'll get off the top of the third base dugout for Nash Berg, who is 2 for 2 with an RBI single. That is an incredible 2 plays in a row. Stalley moving to his left. Hunsley also going to his left, but Stalley making the catch with the left hand. Hunsley had to go across his body to make that diving catch. And the count's now 1-1 here to Nash Berg. See if the Govs can make something of it. They've got to find the momentum somewhere. And having 2 diving catches in back-to-back plays, you got to get the 0 here in the inning and then start to get the bats hot. That's over for a string. The count's now 1-2.
We'll see if Charlie Simpson can make it 3 for 3 on diving catches.
I'd like to just see a strikeout. We don't do it. I mean, I'd love to see Simpson make a diving catch, but let's just make it an easier out this time. Have a curveball in the dirt, make Berg swing and miss. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It'll be at the top of the zone. It started foul. It rolled into fair territory. Hudson Stosher makes an incredible play from third and to retire the side as he keeps charging in down the third baseline. That retires it. Star defensive plays in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2 diving catches and another great play from the third baseman Stosher. A 1-2-3 inning for Will Danberg in the bottom of the 5th. We head to the 6th. 5-1 lead for Watertown. Back in a minute on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. Beck Motor Company is proud to sponsor the Pierre Governors baseball team this season. Just like the Governors, we believe in hard work, dedication, and striving for excellence every day. As these young athletes give it their all on the field, Beck Motor Company is here to deliver top-quality Chevy and Cadillac vehicles and unbeatable service. We're committed to supporting our community, and there's no better way to show that than backing our hometown team. Visit Beck Motor Company today and find the perfect vehicle to fit your lifestyle. www.beck-motors.com. 605-224-5912. Go Govs!
Walking together in faith, living together and faith. Working together in faith, that's who we are.
Hi, this is Pastor Sam Hanschke. I hope that our athletes have an excellent and successful season. I pray that God would continue to richly bless them. I invite you to join me in praying for our athletes during the year.
We're Faith Lutheran and we are glad you're here.
It is the top of the 6th inning. The Pierre Governors are down 5-1 on the American Family Insurance Brittany Shufflebine scoreboard. Ridge Lineback will lead things off. The DH will take ball 1 inside as he is 1 for 2. Should be 2 for 2, but Nate Briggs robbed him of a base hit with a diving play in the hole in his second at-bat. This will be fouled on a play, and the count's 1-1. Was able to get up and still fire a strike to first. And there's Lineback, instead of being 2 for 2, just 1 for 2 in this game. Outside, it was at that point 7 in a row retired before the leadoff walk to Charlie Simpson. That was the 4th man retired in a row from Talon Jurgens, who is under 20 pitches remaining now in this game. And Coach Neal will maybe have to make a decision in the 7th on who he wants to try and close out, potentially try and close out a win for Watertown. 1-2 pitch to Lineback. Curveball that doesn't break back in. The count's now 2-2.
No, I think he's still got 23, 22.
2-2 pitch. Lineback will sky this out towards right field. Olson is camped underneath it. He will make the catch as the birds fly away from Olson. And the leadoff man retired here in the top of the 6th inning. I misheard you the first time. I thought you had about 22 pitches remaining.
28.
He had 28.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably said 28. I just didn't hear you right.
Okay.
Cooper Twilliger will come to the plate. He's 0 for 2. First pitch to him. Curveball that drops in for strike 1. Again, tomorrow here on KCCR, we've got Game 7, OKC, Denver, 2:30 tip-off. Then it'll be followed by Mets-Yankees in Sunday Night Baseball. That'll be grounded foul on the third base line. The count's 0-2. Then Tuesday, we start coverage of the Western Conference Final between Minnesota at the winner of Oklahoma City and Denver. And Blake, you would like to see your Timberwolves face Denver more so than Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they've really gotten up and played well against Denver basically since the end of last year, as Terwilliger fouls that one back into the bleachers to remain an 0-2 count here. They've really, I think Minnesota has beaten Denver 6 straight times dating back to last year.
0-2 pitch, softly grounded. Briggs will bobble, and he's a little bit human over at shortstop. Doesn't feel it cleanly, and there is 1 on and 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. A tough play for Briggs, and it'll be an air charge to Briggs just to kind of lower his confidence a little bit. I mean, got to find a way to find something for him not to do well in this game, as it will be an E6 to put Twilliger over at first base.
Yeah, and that's a tough play for Briggs to make regardless, because it was a cue shot from Terwilliger that was perfectly placed between the pitcher, second base, and shortstop, and Briggs was coming in on it, and it took a really, really bad hop right at the end, hit him in the chest to make it a 1-out base runner instead of 2 outs with nobody on, and now forces Jurgens to go into the stretch rather than the windup, and he has promptly thrown 2 straight balls here to Porter Hunsley as that one catches the strike zone for strike 1.
He walked and has scored the only run for the Governors, says Porter Hunsley. He struck out swinging. He's 0 for 1. Did so in the 4th inning. Here's a 2-1 pitch. There's a fly ball out towards center field. Breaking in, then staying with it is the center fielder Pitkin. And there's now 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. And it will bring up Suddenshine, who is 0 for 2. Lined out to the shortstop Briggs, then flew out to the left fielder in Rabine. Although Luke Gillespie, I believe, might be the guy that's out in left field. There was a little bit of some stirring in the third base dugout for Watertown, but nobody's moved over out towards the left field bullpen.
I think if Sun and Shine reaches base here, you might see some activity out there, as that was pitch number 91 for Talon Jurgens there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough at this point right now for Jurgens to try and get through all 7 innings, especially if Sunshine reaches base. 0-1 pitch. That'll miss low. The count's now 1-1. You'd expect to see activity in the bottom half of the inning whenever Watertown comes to the plate, just because of how far Jurgens has thrown so far. The 1-1 pitch, it'll stay upstairs, and the count's now 2-1. But also, if you don't see activity soon, you would then assume and know that they're probably going to have somebody from the field come in and pitch. 2-1 pitch here to Sunshine. This will be popped foul, left side. That will get out of play. And the count is now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a strike away here from Jurgens to get out of this 6th inning. Governors are down to their final 4 outs here in game 2 and the season on the line. 2-2 pitch. That is outside. Full count. Terwilliger will be off with a pitch. And see if a gap shot here from Sunshine get the Governors a run back on the board. 3-2, runner takes off. There is a fly ball right side. Looks like it's going to get out of play. Berg giving chase. It didn't land out of play, but he ran out of time, did Berg. And it remains a 3-2 count here to Sunshine.
And just looking at the options for Watertown, who they go to after Jurgens, you maybe look at a guy like Hayden Reese, Kane Everson's a possibility, Ashton Rabine. Maybe that's why they took him out of the ballgame if Lesson is in the game. Jackson McClemens is an option as well. So maybe one of those 4 guys is who they would look to close this out if Jurgens can't get through all 7, as he's now climbed up to a 3-2 count against Sunshine here.
Fouls it back again. Stays alive at 3-2. Rabine, by stats, has the only save. That doesn't mean he's the only guy that. Sometimes the save doesn't get entered in a game changer in either, not necessarily a proper way, but sometimes you get a save and don't realize you can put a save down. 3-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. Jurgens will strike out. Sunshine retires the side here in the 6th. No runs, no hits, an error, and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It is a 5-1 lead for Watertown over Pierre. Back in a minute on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Did you know it is important for your child to see the dentist at the time their first tooth erupt? A healthy smile begins at birth, and there are many variables, from healthy eating habits to good oral hygiene and routine dental care. Hi, I am Dr. Michelle Hofer. At Missouri River Dentistry, we enjoy working with people of all ages. Dentistry is our profession, but people are our focus. I invite families to come experience an office that uses the latest techniques and equipment to be sure you receive that healthy and happy smile. To schedule your appointments for your family, call us at 223-2021. Kids love us, parents trust us.
As South Dakota's oldest auto dealer, it's our 118th anniversary. Stop by and sign up for drawings, prizes, beef bucks. You save thousands with Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram employee pricing, plus incentives for everyone. Buick GMC incentives up to $6,250. Plus, all of our new vehicles in stock are tariff-free. Check out our huge selection of used vehicles at our 118th anniversary on the windshields and at WagnerAuto.com. Wagner Auto, your one place to go for sales and service, 118 years in Pierre.
Bottom of the 6th, Watertown's got a chance to add on to their 5-1 lead on the American Family Insurance Brittany Shufflebein scoreboard. They will do it with 7, 8, 9 here for this Watertown squad. There will be, looks like, well, just 1 man out there. Well, it could be maybe double barrel action. Nope, he'll make his way over into out of play, as it will be Cole Hansen that will come to the plate and hit for Luca Lesson, Ashton Rabine spot. That's the leadoff man in this bottom of the 6th inning. 7, 8, 9. So it'll be Hansen, Hemrick, and then Lake. Anybody reaches base. We're going to go back to the top of the order for Hayden Reese. And Will Danberg is now looking to try and close out this 6th inning and keep this a 5-1 deficit going into the top of the 7th. Stevens has a 3-1 lead over the Mitchell Colonels, as they're trying to close out and get back to the state tournament for their second consecutive year. The only 2 times they've ever made the state tournament as the first pitch is a half swing and a swing and a miss from Hansen.
And it's Nate Briggs that's warming up in the bullpen for Watertown.
That was pitch number 74 from Danberg. That'll miss low, and the count's now 1-1. And after what we've seen from Briggs so far today, why wouldn't it be Briggs in the warming up for Watertown? Here's the 1-1. That one is on the outside corner for a strike. The count's 1-2. Pierre will have 8, 9, and 1 in the top of the 7th inning. And right now they need at least 4 runs to keep the ball game and their season alive. That'll be outside. The count's 2-2. If they are unable to, Watertown advances to the quarterfinals against Harrisburg next weekend, starting on Friday at noon. And then Pierre will transition over to summer baseball as there's a ground ball to the short second baseman and Shufflebein. His throw to first will just beat Hansen. Leadoff man retired here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And it brings up Trayton Hemrick, who is 0 for 2, ground down to the third baseman. And he also reached on an error. Then if, again, transition to summer baseball, post-state baseball, and Senior Legion games here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. It'll be the Thursday after Memorial Day when the Brookings Bandits will be in town to start the 2025 summer season.
And if the Govs aren't able to mount a miraculous comeback in this top of the 7th here, what a pitching matchup for that 8-1 matchup between Watertown and Harrisburg with Eli Kokenge and Caden Rylance in game 1.
That would be a one will probably be enough to win that game.
Yeah.
I like that. That game could take an hour and 10 minutes to play.
Yeah, that would be a quick baseball game if both pitchers pitch to their capabilities, which they are well within their right to do that.
Counts 3-1 here to Trayton Hemrick. Eli Kokenge for Harrisburg. He's got to be graduating sometime soon, right?
I think he's a senior this year.
It feels like he's been playing since I moved here in 2018-19. I feel like he just every single year he's dominating the state of South Dakota. Here's a softly hit line drive into center field for a base hit. 1-out single for the number 8 man in Hemrick, his first base hit in game number 2, and overall his first hit today. And now here's Jonathan Lake with a 1-on and 1-out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Which I'm sure there's a couple people that probably said that about Lincoln Keenels back in the day. They probably felt that way about the Zabel family. Having Peyton to Gray to Jet, they're probably wondering how they aren't all the same person and how they seem like the Zabels were playing high school sports for Pierre for about the last 25 years.
Yeah.
As the first pitch will miss for ball 1 to Jonathan Lake.
Yeah. And if, like I said, if that doesn't happen, if Pierre doesn't make a 4-inning or a 4-run comeback here in the top of the 7th, that would be a pitching matchup of SDSU baseball commit, University of Minnesota baseball commit, pitching-wise.
That'd be a good Division I matchup.
Ridiculous. I mean, just that would be a fun one to watch.
Counts 1-1 here to Jonathan Lake. That one will miss low, and the count's now 2-1. I think back to 2020, the summer of 2020, there's a lot of Division I baseball players that end up playing Legion baseball. Obviously, you didn't have a high school season, but this high school season, then going into Legion here, adding on post 22 and post 320, that one will be a strike, and the count's 2-2. Might be the most college baseball players we've seen in quite some time, with a lot of Division I guys playing here in Legion baseball, high school baseball coming up. Maybe there's not a whole lot of Division I guys, but a lot of college baseball players that will be playing overall. 2-2. That one just stays upstairs, and the count's 3-2 here to Lake.
Yeah, 2020 was a a big year for college baseball in the state, and this could be another one of those years. A lot of talent around the state everywhere you look.
3-2 pitch is fouled back. That was pitch number 89 from Danberg, so he is down to his final 16 pitches before he'd have to be removed from the mound, which would mean that we'd like to see somebody else pitch, knowing that he probably will have to be relieved in the 7th inning when the Govs make their comeback in the top of the 7th. Runner takes off. That'll be taken for ball 4, and it's first and second.
They're going to run for Lake here. We'll see if it's Everson again.
Let's see. I believe that is Everson. Nope, it's going to be number 13 in
McClemens.
Jackson McClemens that will run. So it is now the top of the order, Hayden Reese. This is danger territory again here for the Govs. They're already down by 4. Can't extend this lead out any longer here for Watertown, any higher for Watertown. First pitch is over for strike 1, and that's pitch number 91 from Danberg. 8-9-1 for the Governors in the top of the 7th inning. Do they need a 4-run comeback, or will they need more? 0-1 pitch. That'll miss low, and the count's even at a ball and a strike.
This is a, like you said, danger territory. Big out to get for Danberg if he's able to retire Reese here, because danger lurks on deck in Mitch Olson.
1-1 pitch, and a miss low, and the count's now 2-1. And if you don't, I mean, at this point, too, like, even if you end up striking out Reese and you don't pitch to Olson, that puts you put Rylance up with the bases loaded potentially. Here's one we popped up. That'll be long run for Terwilliger, and nobody's going to be able to get to it. And the count goes now 2-2.
Yeah, do you think about, like, let's say hypothetically that Reese is out here on a strikeout or a pop out or something. Do you put Olson on base?
I think you have to. I don't know.
You think about it.
You think about it. You think about it more than anybody else. There's a strikeout of Reese, and now we'll see what the Governors do as he takes strike 3. And it's now Mitch Olson, 3 for 3, double in the first, single in the third, and then singled homer on the 4th. And again, Rylance is on deck.
0 for 2, right?
Yeah, he's 0 for 2. And Olson, who has got 5 hits today, make that 4 hits today, he's been retired just once, is looking for his 4th hit in the game and can get another RBI. There's a swing and a miss for strike 1.
A little bit out in front there was Olson, but he's going to go play college baseball at University of Sioux Falls for a reason next year. He is locked in. Good level swing. He's going to make the adjustment.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. There's a ground ball softly in front. They will retire Olson as Danberg will throw to first. Terwilliger does make the catch. He a little bit run into by Olson, but it does retire the side. And the pays off to go after Olson. Second time he's been retired today. First time in this game. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Top of the 7th, last chance for the Governors, needing 4 runs to keep their season alive. At least 4 runs to keep their season alive. Back in a minute on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Most of us already know that Gale's Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the cost throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gale's Gas at 224-5518. That's Gale's Gas at 224-5518.
Dakota Sprinkler and Landscaping wants to make it easy for you to get that lush green lawn and that yard haven that you've been dreaming of. Visit dakota.sprinkler.com to make appointments for sprinkler system spring startup, service calls, fall winterization, and landscaping quotes. Trust Dakota Sprinkler and Landscaping's professionals to get you through the planning and installation to make your landscaping needs a reality. Visit dakota.sprinkler.com today.
It is the top of the 7th and a 5-1 lead here for the Watertown Arrows over the Pierre Governors. And Nate Briggs will be on to try and close this out. Carter Bisker's over at short. Don't know if that would then mean the end of the day for Caden Rylance or somebody else is out of the lineup. We'll try and check on that here in just a moment. But for Briggs, he comes in as he has thrown 5 2/3 innings, all in relief in 5 appearances. His ERA is 2.47. He's given up 2 hits, 8 runs, 2 of them earned though. 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. A whip at 1.77 and a batting average against at 244. And Talon Jurgens leads with 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 unearned run, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And that is a big, another great job there by Talon Jurgens. I think that run should probably be earned. Although maybe the balk turns into something else or a pass ball. First pitch is missed for ball 1. But either way, Nate Briggs has got 3 outs and a 4-run cushion to try and send Watertown to Sioux Falls next weekend. That one's over for strike 1 at Charlie Simpson. He is 0 for 1. Flew out of center field and drew a walk. Briggs from the stretch. That one's fouled out of play. The count's 1-2 here to Simpson. Simpson, Stosher, Shufflebein. He might reach his base. George Stalley, and I mean, at the very minimum, George Stalley, if he hits a home run, he can tie the game up. But all 4 of those guys have to get on base. There's a swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt on the curveball. Tag applied by the catcher in Lake, and there's 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th, and it's 2 outs away here for Watertown.
Yeah, Briggs went to the curveball low and away. Simpson couldn't hold up, swung at it in the dirt. Good pick by Lake, able to pick it and then tag out Simpson without a throw for out number 1.
Hudson Stosher, first pitch is over for strike 1. He is 2 for 2. He's got 2 of the 3 hits for the Governors. Rich Lineback has the other hits. An RBI single in the second that gave Pierre the 1-0 lead. That one's over for a strike, and it's quickly 0-2. Shufflebein on deck, top of the order for the Governors. See if Stosher can be a 1-out base runner. 0-2 pitch. That one will miss low and away, and the count's 1-2.
Looks like Porter Hunsley's back up in the bullpen for the Govs should they extend this ball game to the bottom of the 7th.
Here's the 1-2 pitch upcoming here from Briggs to Stosher. That'll miss low and away, and the count's now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good hold there from Stosher. He thought about that one on the curveball from Briggs, but was able to lay off.
2-2 count. Briggs delivers. That one will be popped out towards shortstop. Bisker, who is in at short for Briggs, will make the catch. And there is now 2 down, and the Governors are 1 out away from being swept out of the playoffs as Carter Shufflebein will come to the plate. Here's the first pitch to Shufflebein. He'll foul that one back, and the count's 0-1. He is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in the ball game. Pierre went 17-6 in the regular season, 16-5 in South Dakota games. But ran into, that one's top of the zone for a strike, and the count's 0-2, and the Govs are down to their final strike. Here is the 0-2 pitch. That is upstairs, and the count's now 1-2.
And this is, a Watertown team that, like we said, underseeded as Briggs delivers up high to even the count. Shufflebein against 2-2. Easily the best 12 seed I think I've ever seen that in the state of South Dakota. But they've come in here and really put the hammer down on Pierre to this point, as it's now a 3-2 count. Scheffelbein with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th.
3-2 count. Looking to extend the game to George Staley, one of the seniors for this Governor's squad. 3-2 pitch from Briggs to Scheffelbein. That will be upstairs for ball 4, and it will be a 2-out walk that will extend the game. And the Govs now have to get the next 3 guys on base and all come in to score. And here is George Staley. Could be his final baseball game with Pierre, not playing Legion baseball this summer, as he will then go be a Mustang, playing football, college football. So his last chance at the plate, potentially last chance at the plate. First pitch swinging, he fouls it back for strike 1. He's 0 for 3, struck out in the first inning, flew out into center in the 3rd, and ground into a fielder's choice in the 5th. He's got extended to Dawson Getz and Ridge Leinbach. Here's the 0-1. That is outside. The count's now 1-1.
Scheffelbein got a big lead over at first base. He's got to be wary not to get back picked at first if Lake and Berg have something going on.
Yeah, Scheffelbein will take off. Here's a ground ball over towards the second baseman. He'll field. The throw to first is going to be in time. And Watertown advances to the state tournament next week Friday as the number 12 seed. It comes in and sweeps the Governors in a 5-1 win in game number 2. 6-1 in game 1, 5-1 in game 2. As the Gov season will come to a close here at Hyatt Stadium. We'll come back in 2 minutes and wrap up our coverage of high school baseball this spring. Back in 2 minutes here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout affordable benefit package for you and the whole family. Apply to a job with CHS River Plains and up your benefits straight up. To apply, visit us online at chsriverplains.com or stop in at one of our locations. CHS is an equal opportunity employer.
Larry Fry Heating and Cooling has a new name. Kruger Climate Systems has acquired Larry Fry Heating and Cooling, but it's still the same great service. Your friend Larry Fry is still a manager, and his dedication to providing you with outstanding service remains unwavering. The same quality products and services you have come to expect from Larry Fry Heating and Cooling will continue under the new leadership of Kruger Climate Systems. You can still reach us at 605-224-9548 or email us at ryan@krugercontracting.com. Kruger Climate Systems, your certified Trane and Mitsubishi dealer in Central South Dakota.
Step up to the plate with Kathy Sunshine Properties in Pierre, your go-to for buying, selling, and finding your perfect home. Whether you're looking for a cozy cottage or a spacious family home, Kathy Sunshine Properties has you covered. We're committed to helping you make your next big move, on the field or in your life. Ready to find your dream home? Call Kathy Sunshine Properties at 605-224-5588. Your home run in real estate.
AGE Corporation has been building South Dakota for over 60 years. For all your site work, construction, and crane needs, AGE is there for you. If you need a boat dock and dock lighting, AGE has what you need. Visit their website, agecorp.com, or give them a call at 223-2732. AGE Corporation, providing high-quality services without sacrificing safety. Visit agecorp.com or call 223-2732. We welcome you back as it is a final here in game number 2. The Pierre Governors will fall 5-1 to the Watertown Arrows, and Watertown will advance to the state tournament and take on the Harrisburg Tigers in that first game of the tournament. That'll be at 12 o'clock. That'll be in the quarterfinals. Everybody will play on Friday, one game, and then the 4 winners will meet for 3 games on Saturday, the 2 semifinal games in the championship. As Watertown, again, defeats the Governors 5-1. John Wickler alongside Blake Dean. Not what I don't want to say it's not what we were hoping, obviously, Blake,
Yep.
but for this, Governor team and who they were facing, Watertown, it's just a tough draw for them, and the better team won the 2 games here today, and hats off to Watertown, who got excellent pitching performances from Caden Rylance and Talon Jurgens, who combined for 26 strikeouts in 2 games.
Yeah, that's the difference in the ball game right there is the quality pitching that Watertown had, and on the flip side, the amount of chances that Pierre gave the Watertown hitters. You look at the strikeouts, like you said, 27 strikeouts in 2 games for the Governor offense and 27 strikeouts for the Watertown pitching staff on the flip side. And then you look at, the amount of free chances that Pierre gave Watertown, 6 errors in 2 games and total of 10 free bases allowed by the Governor pitching staff, be it on walks, hit by pitches, or wild pitches. So those extra opportunities, 16 in total on top of 27 strikeouts, a good team's going to put you away, and Watertown's a good baseball team, and they made sure to do that here in 2 games.
Yeah, it is now Watertown that advances. They're going to be the number 8 seed, regardless of how the other 2 matchups unfold. They will be the 8 seed and take on Harrisburg. It was the Governors who took a 1-0 lead in the top of the second in game number 2. An RBI single from Hudson Stosher with 2 outs made it a 1-0 advantage. But then a 3 RBI double from Nate Briggs, and then an RBI single from Nashberg made it a 4-1 game in the bottom of the third. Another RBI single from Mitch Olson made it 5-1, and the Govs with 1 run on 3 hits. Not enough base runners in this game. They didn't leave 7 guys on base. Watertown left 6 guys on base. But overall, just not enough guys on base for this Pierre Governor hitting that was the biggest thing overall for Pierre this season was too many or not enough hits for this Governor team. They had a 237 batting average coming in. Just didn't get the time of the hits when they needed it. They didn't get the base hits in those losses throughout the entire season. And then here today, just didn't get hits when they needed it. And unfortunately, it ends up being the downfall of the Governors here in their sweep from Watertown.
Yeah, to your point, 5 hits in 2 games for the Governor offense, and against a team that's as good as Watertown, that's just not gonna cut it. Watertown, conversely, comes in, like we said, hitting 283, coming into this series as a team, and they put up 5 hits in game 1, and then in game 2 they put up 8 total, so 13 hits for Watertown in 2 games. And like you said, they came in here and were the better team in both ball games and came up with timely hits. In this game in particular, you look at the bases clearing double by Nate Briggs, which was promptly followed by a Nashberg RBI single to extend the lead to 4-1 very, very quickly. And in game 1, Berg had another big hit. I think it was a 2 RBI single that broke the game open 5-1. And then really that first inning in game 1 was where things kind of got away from the Govs. A couple of errors in that first inning, an Olson single, and an Olson double, I think. He had that double to open up the game in game 1. And that was where Watertown was able to put up a 2 spot. I think they were able to score 1 on a ball in play and then 1 on a wild pitch. And really, in that game, that was all they needed because Caden Rylance came in and threw about as good a baseball game as you can throw. 21 outs, 19 of them by way of strikeouts in a complete game 1-run effort in game 1. And then Talon Jurgens followed it up as Watertown's number 2. He goes and throws 6 innings of really, really quality baseball as well, giving up, I'm just pulling up his final line here, 6 innings, 1 run. It was an unearned run on 3 hits, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts, and he did not allow any wild pitches or hit by pitches either, so only 3 free bases from Talon Jurgens in 6 innings. And that's going to, more oftentimes than not, win you baseball games at the high school level when you're able to pitch deep into baseball games, limit the amount of free passes, and get timely hits. And that's exactly what Watertown did here this morning in this early part of the afternoon. And that's why they're going to be the number 8 seed going into the state tournament in Sioux Falls next weekend.
So they will take on Harrisburg at noon. That is the one and only matchup that has been decided right now, because nobody will be behind Watertown in the seed. They will jump to the number 8 spot. Then, if Yankton would beat Brookings, they will jump to the number 5 seed and take on Jefferson. Brandon Valley will at least move up to number 6. If not, they can move up to number 5 if Brookings would upset Yankton. And Stevens, who has a 4-1 lead, but the bases are loaded in the bottom of the 6th with nobody out. Mitchell trying to force a game 3. Stevens did win that first game. Those games will be at 12, 2:30, 5, and 7:30 next Friday. And then the 4 winners will meet at 12:30 and 3 o'clock on Saturday. And the state championship will be at 6:35 next Saturday night at the Birdcage, the Sioux Falls Stadium in Sioux Falls. So our next baseball broadcast of Pierre Baseball will be post-state baseball coming up Thursday, May 29th, when the Brookings Bandits will be in town. It'll be a 5 o'clock start for that doubleheader. We'll have coverage at 4:45 as post-state will get underway with their season coming up on Thursday, May 29th, and we'll have post-state coverage throughout the entire summer right here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. So that wraps up our season here for Pierre Governor Baseball as they finish at 17-8 overall in the season, but come up just 2 games short of making the state tournament as they fall to Watertown in the 5-12 matchup here at Hyde Stadium. Thanks to Jen Brazilius back earlier in game number 1. Thanks to Emma Thielen back at the station here for game number 2. For Blake Dean, John Wickley here signing off. Pierre Governors, they fall game 1, 6-1, and losing game 5, 5-1 as their season comes to an end. So long from Hyde Stadium.
You've been listening to Pierre Governor Baseball on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. Governor Baseball is brought to you by Comtech, True Green Chemlon, Edward Jones Financial, Overhead Doors, Todd's Electric, James Pharmacy, Yay Gare, AGE, First Fidelity, State Farm Insurance Becky Pottsba Agency, Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Missouri River Dentistry, Dakota Sprinkler and Landscaping, Agtegra, Ferding Electric, Envirotech, Kruger Climate Systems, Stalkin Peterson LLP, Wagner Auto, the South Dakota Office of Attorney General, Division of Consumer Protection, Gales Gas, First United Methodist Church, Karsten Erickson Roofing and Construction, Beck Motor Company, May Adams, American Family Insurance, Brittany Scheffelbein Agency, Lamb Motors, Bank West, CHS River Plains, Faith Lutheran Church, Graham Tire, Kathy Sunshine Properties, Venture Communications, and the American of Fort Pierre. Join us all season for Governor Baseball on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. This has been a special presentation